Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Roger Paul, and tonight we're going to continue our study of the 7 superuniverses, paper 15. We're in section 8, energy control and regulation, and that's on page 175.4 in the original book, if you have an original book. And if you don't, if you go to one of our other versions online here, you'll find the right page on that version. So we got 8 of them on our website. And let me show everyone, for the new people that's coming tonight, on our website, Fifth Epical Revelation Fellowship, and it's exactly the same on the Atlanta Urantia Study Group site, .org. On this site, you'll always see our meetings. Over here, let me scroll down here a little bit, and you'll see the meeting from the previous time, and Tuesdays and Thursdays meeting from this week and that last week, or this week and this week if it's on the same week. But on this site, you can see it says UB study version links, and on that link, if you go to it, there are 8 different versions of the study versions of the Urantia book. 4 of them are in blue and 4 of them are in white. And some of them have different titles and numbers for the pages for different versions of the book. So you'll have to just look for yours on those. Okay. And when you click one of those, it'll take you to the book. Basically, let me show you what it does. When you click one of those, this is the blue version. It'll take you to an index, and you can hit sections, and it'll break it down into 4 different sections. And we're on paper 15 out of this section, but there's the 2nd section, the 3rd section, and the 4th section. And what's interesting about these versions of the book, I have added pictures on most of the papers. That's not the Life of Christ. I'm only up to paper 132 on the Life of Christ, and I don't know if I'll finish that before the end of the summer. But all the rest of the papers have pictures that I've added to them from different sources. So just for your information, that's where all these pictures and things come from, is from this version of the book. And I wanted to show everyone at home. That's how you
Let's go back to that other screen though, that you were just on.
This one?
Okay. Yeah. And go back one.
Go back.
And go back one.
There.
And then look at the contents of the book. It has the contents of the book in
we got the contents
and sections.
That's right. It has it in papers and sections. This is just like in the book. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. And then we also have
you have the titles
authors.
Of the papers.
If you know, if you want to see a list of the books with the authors mm-hmm. who does all these. And I have made links to all of these. You can go right to the paper from these links on any link on any one of them in the book. So mm-hmm. It's easy to negotiate the book from this website. And I did this years ago. So and I added the papers the last 2 years on it. I mean, the pictures. Yeah. And these pictures come from a lot of different sources. I didn't create all these pictures. I don't want to give y'all the impression that I did. Some of them I did, some of them I didn't. A lot of them came from Encyclopedia Urantia back before they took all the pictures off of it. I don't know what happened where this guy was located, but he was an Oriental gentleman, and he gave me permission to use all his pictures from Encyclopedia Urantia, and he did a lot of pictures. So a lot of these illustrations come from him, and a lot of them come from me. So
what was one of these pictures you're referring to?
Oh, okay. Well, if we go down here, this is one right here, right? These are all pictures. This is one of his. If we keep going, this is one of his. And some of them down here, this is one of mine. So they're interspersed. All these circuit ones are my pictures that I created, and they're straight out of the information on the book. And then I have some charts in here too that I created, like this one here, of the executive branches of the government. And I've just all I did was added who created them and the origin of each one of these, make it easier to find them. So that's why I did this. This is just a study guide. It's a study aid to studying the book, helping to understand it. That was the goal of making all these. All right. And they're nice illustrations. Sometimes you can remember a picture easier than you can words. And
Right.
that's why we use them, right? Okay, so let's get started tonight. That's our introduction for tonight, right? Okay. And Gary, let me tell you how this works. We each have an opportunity to read one paragraph. You don't have to read. No one has to read. If you don't want to read a paragraph or you don't want to read it all till you're comfortable, just say pass and we'll go on to the next person. So you're the first one on my list, Gary. So do you want to start out reading tonight?
Might as well.
Okay.
I've
First
got
paragraph.
my thing here.
All right.
Okay, 8, energy control and regulations. The headquarters spheres of the super universes are so constructed that they are able to function as efficient power energy regulators for their various sectors, serving as focal points for the directionalization of energy to their component local universes. They exert a powerful influence over the balance and control of the physical energy circulating through organized space.
Okay, a good example of that is this picture here. This in the center, Jerusalem, or any of the capitals, the capital of Urantia, any of them, each have centers that controls the energy flow to each and every local universe and planet. Okay, and that's what this illustration is about. Now, let's think about this from the headquarters. It says from the headquarters spheres. So this is the case in every single architectural sphere. You remember last time we talked about how many architectural spheres there was? 500 billion architectural spheres. So each one of these architectural spheres have power centers and physical controllers on different levels that help control the energy and the power that goes out to each sector and each planet. Okay, and these focal centers is how this energy is directionalized from paradise all to the capital of the super universe, Uversa, and all the way out to every single planet. Now, this is something we can't even conceive of. It's a circuit that's just beyond our belief. And it tells us in the next paragraph, this circuit, for this to go in one circuit, it takes 968 million years to go all the way through this circuit. So that's a lot of time for the power to move, isn't it? Okay. All right. And what they're talking about, these power energy regulators, right, and their various sectors are focal points of directionization. What does that mean? In other words, these power centers and physical controllers are the focal points that this energy passes through. So these are living beings that this passes through. Okay. That's probably one of the reasons some of them are living and some of them are not. They're semi-living, okay? And so they control all the physical energies that circulate in organized space. Let's go on to the next paragraph. Diane,
Roger.
yeah, go ahead, Rodney, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What is a good example of unorganized space?
Unregularized space? You mean
Unorganized.
unorganized space. That would be nebulae, Rodney. It's not really to the point of organization yet, right? Remember when we talked about how the Andromeda Nebula moved over close to the Milky Way galaxy, right? That is really when part of unorganized space comes in contact with organized space, because the Milky Way galaxy is totally organized, even though it's not finished. Okay, but it's still organized. Organized to the point that the creator sons and daughters can be assigned a location of space, okay, that they will create in. Okay, so that would be considered organized space. But a nebulae that's still moving around and not coming completely into organization would be considered unorganized space, right?
Okay, good. Thank
Alright.
you.
Sure. Did you have a question too, Gary?
Yeah, you're talking about energy. Can you tell me what energy? You're talking spiritual energy, you're talking like physical energy.
No, we're going to get to that in a minute. That's these energies right here in this picture. Okay. And when they're talking about the super universe, you're talking about the electrons, protons, and atoms. Okay. That's just in the super universe. But if you're talking about Havona, then we're talking about a different type of energy, and that's triada. And that has 3 elements of energy. Okay. But in paradise, then we're talking about absolutum, which is totally different. Okay, so there's 3 different types of energy. There's absolutum or monada for paradise energy, right? And then there's triada, which is Havona energy. And then there's also gravata, which is the local universe. Raphata.
So you're talking 3 different energies, like on Earth, we would have Gravata, I'm assuming.
Yes, that's
So
right.
we're talking about the energy that is on Earth.
That's true, but think of it this way, Gary. All of these energies originate from paradise.
Yeah,
Okay, in the paradise
I've got
circle.
that, but so it just kind of filters down.
It filters down. That's right.
So like, basically they could shut our energy off if they wanted
In a
to.
heartbeat. Yeah, they could.
Mhm.
They could. If they made the decision to do that. Now, it's important to understand too, when we talk about Havona energy compared to the super universe energy, in Havona, we're talking about 1,000 different atoms, okay, that's created from this energy. In our super universe, we're talking about 100 different atoms that are in our super universe. Now, you can't look at the periodic table and compare it. That's not what it's talking about. Okay. And people get this confused all the time. If you look at the periodic table, I don't know what the current number is up to. 100 and it's been so long since I looked at it, 130 or 40 elements. But those elements are derived from these basic 100 combinations of atoms. Okay, that's what they're talking about. All right. Okay, so let's go back up here to the second paragraph. Diane, would you take the second paragraph?
Okay. Further regulative functions are performed by the super-universe power centers and physical controllers, living and semi-living intelligent entities constituted for this express purpose. These power centers and controllers are difficult of understanding. The lower orders are not volitional. They do not possess will. They do not choose. Their functions are very intelligent, but apparently automatic and inherent in their highly specialized organization. The power centers and physical controllers of the super universes assume direction and partial control of the 30 energy systems which comprise the Gravata domain. The physical energy circuits administered by the power centers of Uversa require a little over 968 million years to complete the encirclement of the super universe.
That's how long it takes energy to go the entire circuit of the super universes, encircle the super universes, 968 million years. Now think about this. We're going to talk about the other stuff in this paragraph, but think about this for a second. You know, when they talk about the Big Bang Theory, you know, we always come back to the Big Bang Theory. You know, there's this theory that there was this huge explosion, and that's why everything's moving away from the center of paradise, right? One of the reasons that this would make sense they would assume this is this very thing of this 968 million years for the encirclement of the super universe. That's part of what? Universe respiration. Okay, so that's where the confusion comes in. It's not because of stupidity, it's just confusion over how things are. All right, so let's go back up here to the first part of this paragraph. The functions we're talking about, controlling energy, are controlled by the power centers and the physical controllers. Now remember, The power centers and the physical controllers has many other entities below them, all the way down to the mechanical physical controllers on each and every planet. And it tells us that some of these orders of being are not volitional. What's that mean? That means they do not have free will. Okay, they cannot choose on their own. That's why it says they do not choose. They may be very intelligent, and their actions may be automatic, but they do not choose those actions. They are instilled in them. They are created with these actions. So if you think about it, even though they're living, intelligent beings, they're not volitional beings like we are. We choose, they do not. Okay. The other thing that's important about this, Georgie, the other thing that's important about this is because these are not free will entities. Okay. Do you think any of them would ever rebel, get in a situation like Lucifer or any of the followers?
They couldn't.
They couldn't, because they don't have free will, do they? They don't make choices. And there's a reason they're built that way, is because if they did make choices and for any reason they shut down, any level down through the power controllers, the physical controllers, the mechanical physical controllers, any of these, if one of them shut down, everything after that would what? Shut down too, be turned off. Now, if that happens, what would happen? The atomic makeup of our local planet, our local system would disintegrate and fall apart. And what would that mean? That means all atoms would collapse upon itself. Okay, so you'd have an implosion and everything would cease to exist. You see why this is so important?
These are spiritual beings.
These are spiritual beings, but they control what? Mechanical matter. That's right.
Well, it says living and semi-living intelligent entities.
That's right. Semi-living. Why would they say semi-living, you think, there, Bill? What do you think?
You know, it's automatic robots.
Automatic. They're just,
Right.
yeah, they do things without thinking. This is their function. They do it automatically.
Like a
Do you
spiritual
remember?
robot.
Do you remember the old movie back in the? It's a Disney movie, Black Hole.
Uh-huh.
And you remember they had some of these characters that were doing things at the control panels and stuff like that looked
Yeah.
like robots.
They look like, that's an automatic function, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was just come to my mind when reading this paragraph.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of what we're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we know that these physical energies, these circuits, are administered by the power centers of Uversa. Okay, so if you go back, let's go back to this picture here. So this energy that's coming from these pictures, this here, all right, what they're talking about is it originates where? In Uversa, right? So all of this power originates in Uversa. Now, what does Uversa use? It uses Gravada, right? Because it's 3 steps down from paradise, if you think about it. You know, first you have paradise, then you have Havona, right? Then you have the local or the super universes. So everything that they're talking about Uversa's manipulating has to do with Gravada. Okay, and that has to do with keeping the electrons and the protons and the atoms and all those types of energies working. Okay, so that's why I'm saying if one of these beings shut down, then everything after that would collapse, because it would do what? It would break the circuit. Rodney understands this from being an electrician. You break the circuit, you lose the flow of energy, everything stops, right? All right, and we're going to go into this a little bit more. I know this is beating this to death in this particular paper, but I think it's important to understand this.
Yes, it is.
It is, yeah.
All right, Bill, would you take the next one?
Sure. Evolving energy has substance. It has weight, although weight is always relative, depending on revolutionary velocity, mass, and anti-gravity. Mass and matter tends to retard velocity and energy, and the anywhere present velocity of energy represents the initial endowment of velocity minus retardation by mass encountered in transit, plus the regulatory function of the living energy controllers of the superuniverse, and the physical influence of nearby highly heated or heavily charged bodies.
Okay, there's the key, right? If you want a
Mhm.
key to how things work, okay? First of all, energy has mass and weight itself, right? Within itself. But the energy and mass is instilled with a certain amount of anti-gravity. And the anti-gravity is how the physical controllers manipulate the mass. Okay, so if you think about it this way, the mass itself has a tendency to retard the speed or the velocity of the energy. Okay, and anywhere you have velocity and energy representatives, you have an endowment of velocity. Okay, then they talk about you minus the retardation of the mass encountered in transit. What's it talking about? The mass as it moved is retarded by the weight of itself in movement. Okay, then you
It's weight
have
of itself, and then it has friction probably from
friction from the
whatever
movement
it's going
also.
through.
That's right. That's right. So plus you have, then you add in that says plus the regulatory function of the living energy controllers of the super universe. You see that? That's what these controllers do. They regulate the energy, and this comes from the super universe, okay, of the mass and the velocity, and plus the retardation of its movement, okay? They also have to take into account the influence of the nearby heated or heavily charged bodies. What are they talking about? The suns, right? You have the
Right.
suns, you have the dark islands of space, you have the tremendous gravity that comes from these dark islands in space. So the physical controllers have to take in an account of those things to keep the matter and the energy flowing properly. Right?
Wow.
Mhm.
That's a lot to take
It's a
care of.
lot to take care of, isn't it? Quite a bit.
This is basically a great big universal substation.
It is. That's a perfect
Exactly.
example, Gary.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it
So
is.
like
Mhm.
electricity,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
frequency and
Right. We lost Mike, didn't we?
um,
All right.
attenuation.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
right. All right. Rodney, would you take the next one?
Yes, the universal plan for the maintenance of equilibrium between matter and energy necessitates the everlasting making and unmaking of the lesser material units. The universe power directors have the ability to condense and detain, or to expand and liberate varying quantities of energy.
Okay, think about this. To keep this equilibrium between the matter and the energy, right? These power directors, universe power directors, constantly have to make larger and lesser units of material mass because they know the material mass does what? It slows down everything, right? If they want to speed it up, what they do, they decrease the amount of material in it, right? It just makes sense. Okay, so these power directors have the ability to condense, detain, or expand and liberate these energies by controlling the mass or the material. Makes sense?
Mhm.
Seems like a simple job, doesn't it? But they do it without thinking, right? They're automatic.
Okay, okay. Well, there's 8 of us here. There's 8 here. Okay. Well, 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 there's 8
All right. So let's go on to the next one. Jane, would you take the next one?
Okay. Given a sufficient duration of retarding influence, gravity would eventually convert all energy into matter, were it not for two factors. First, because of the anti-gravity influences of the energy controllers. And second, because organized matter tends to disintegrate under certain conditions found in very hot stars and under certain peculiar conditions in space near highly energized cold bodies of condensed matter.
Okay, so if it wasn't for the gravity and the controlling of these factors, uh, everything would eventually do what? Turn into matter, right? One big clump. But think about the suns. Okay, that's what they're talking about here. And very hot stars, what does it do? It keeps it in a molten moving state that's not like regular matter, does it? It's more like gases than anything else. So if you think about the suns, what they are at the core, they're highly agitated or highly heated matter in a sense. Okay, and that's the same in cold space of the dark space bodies, right? They affect energy the same way. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Ed, would you take the next one, please?
Certainly. When mass becomes over agitated and threatens to unbalance energy, to deplete the physical power circuits, the physical controllers intervene unless gravity's own further tendency to over-materialize energy is defeated by the occurrence of a collision among the dead giants of space, thus, in an instant, completely dissipating the cumulative collections of gravity. In these collisional episodes, enormous masses of matter are suddenly converted into the rarest form of energy, and the struggle for the universal equilibrium is begun anew. Eventually, the largest physical systems become stabilized because physically settled and are swung into the balanced and established circuits of the superuniverses. Subsequent to this event, no more collisions or other devastating catastrophes will occur in such established systems.
Okay, remember when we read long time ago that only systems that were completely settled will be ready to enter light and life. Do y'all remember that?
Right.
This is what it's talking about. Okay, all the physical catastrophes from these large, massive space dead giants moving through space, plus other planets and suns coming in close proximity to them, creating these terrible, over materialization of energy and things like that, that's going to erupt in space. Until these are all done and settled, those systems will never reach light and life, will they?
And that's why.
And that's why, because they're not settled systems.
That's interesting.
Okay, I got a question in reference to that. So
Sure,
you're
Mike.
saying that when let's just take our system.
Right.
Let's just take our little local system here, Satania.
You're talking about Nebadon, right?
Well, it said systems. So
Yes.
are you talking about Nebadon? Is that what you're talking about?
It includes systems, constellations.
I know that, Roger.
Yeah,
Roger,
yeah.
I know that. So let's just say a system. Let's say we're going to get our little Satania system toward light and life.
Yeah, 1,000 planets, let's say, right? That's what a
We
system.
don't have 1,000, but the potential 1,000
Yeah, potential's
planets have
there
been
for 1,000.
settled and so on and so forth.
Right.
So now you're saying that all of this is agitation.
Yes.
And this agitation has got to settle down where things will settle in light and life. But we have to start with light and life among ourselves. And then it's on individually on a planet.
We're
And
talking
then it
about,
works itself out.
yeah, we're talking about
where everything-
physical light and
I
life
just-
too. Yeah,
Are you
there's,
saying that the whole thing is going to settle in light and life at the same time?
yeah, sooner or later, but not, no, all right, now all 7 super universes will eventually settle in light and life, but they're
I
not going
know
to do it
that.
at the same time. No.
No, that's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
so this agitation, so the swirling that's going on right now in
Yeah.
in our system,
Right.
in Satania,
Right.
is not going to have any kind of physical effect on this planet in working its way toward the settlement of light and life. It
Yes,
begins with us individually, works its way into our civilization, and then to the globe, and then it works itself out. But
Yeah.
unless
But
I'm
that's-
misunderstanding you, you're saying all of this chaos that's going on and the outside light years away from here is affecting us to going toward light and life.
Yes,
that
it
what you
is. Yeah, the physical, yeah, because it states in the book, Mike, that no planet or system can enter light and life until their physical universes settle. Okay,
Okay,
so
could you, where is that? Where is that?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I can find it for you.
Okay.
Okay, I
All
can,
right, I'll
because
dig
I'm
around
sure
for
of
it.
that. It's very specific about that. So that's why, you know, all these
Okay,
people that are,
just a second, Ron. Could you say that again?
Yeah,
That nothing will be settled in light and life until the whole, say it again, I'm sorry?
no, that's not true. Before our local system is settled in light and life, our physical part of our system must be stable.
Well, I agree with that.
Okay, that's
Stable,
part
you
of
know,
us being admitted to light and life. Is that and we don't even have all of our planets yet, Mike. We're not
Well, I
even
know
close.
that. We have
Yeah.
619.
Yeah.
in
So
this
we're not
system.
even close to that. That does not mean we can't strive for light and light.
That's my
every
point.
day.
We can strive toward light and life as
Yeah.
individuals, as a
Every
society,
day.
as a civilization. And this planet could get in light and life, and planet potentially number 819 could be blowing to hell. But
That's
we're
right.
settling ourselves in light and life.
That's
the
right.
point that I'm
We're
making.
on the pathway. That's the whole thing. You know, it's really, if you think about it, it's like the ascension plan in essence. The ascension plan takes millions, sometimes billions of years, doesn't it? We try to get in a hurry and push things along, don't we? But it still takes billions of years to get there. And that's the same point with our planet reaching light and life. But even though it takes such a long time to reach light and life, does not mean that we can't, as an individual and as a planet, strive for light and life every single day,
Amen. I'm with you on that one.
right? It's a pathway. You know, we're always on the pathway, right?
Yeah. That's right. Okay, cool.
Okay, and if you'll send me an email and remind me, I'll send you that quote on the entire system has to be settled before we reach light and life.
Okay.
So we got a long way to go. We're on the path, but we got a long way to go, right? All right. Let's go on to the next one. Who read last? Rodney, did you read?
Yeah, Rodney just read.
Oh, did he? Okay, Jane, did you read yet?
I did.
Yes, she
Did
did.
you? Okay, well, Ed's
I,
up.
I think Ed just read.
Oh, Ed just did?
I
Okay.
think so.
Well, Mike, you're up.
Yes.
Oh, it's a troublemaker gets to read. Okay.
That's right. The troublemaker
Yeah.
is to read. That's right. That's your punishment for
Really,
being too
my
smart.
punishment is I've got to read. Damn
That's-
you. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Where are we? During.
No, Mike, I want you to bring those points up. That's how we learn from each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
That's how you keep me straight too, because I get off the beaten path sometimes too.
You know, I've been reading through this one time years ago. I don't remember any of this, and I
Yeah.
certainly didn't understand it the first time I read it. So this is a wonderful opportunity for me to grasp some of this stuff.
Yeah, that's right. That's
And I
right.
appreciate you doing it. Okay, where are we?
During the times.
During the times. Okay. During the times of plus energy, there are power disturbances and heat fluctuations accompanied by electrical manifestations. During times of minus energy, there are increased tendencies for matter to aggregate, to condense, and to get out of control in the more delicately balanced circuits with resultant tidal or collisional adjustments, which quickly restore the balance between circulating energy and more literally stabilized matter. To forecast and otherwise to understand such likely behavior of the blazing suns and the dark islands of space is one of the tasks of the celestial star observers.
Now, who are the celestial star observers? These are people like us that are on the ascension plan that dedicate a whole millennium to studying the makeup of the physical universe. Okay. And what they do is they study this stuff like energy manifestation, condensation, dark matter, gravity itself, all these things that affect the energy of the universe. They study these things and come up with this sort of book or this sort of writing for us so we can understand a little bit of it, right? It's not easy stuff. It isn't meant to be easy stuff, right? And this is only the very top of the cream of the crop. This is not getting into the really heavy duty stuff that we probably don't even have minds to understand, right? So that's what we're talking about here, right? So that's why they miss here. That's why they mention here that this is the task of the celestial star observers, people that study this stuff, and we'll have the opportunity to do this. All right. Gary, would you take the next one? We are able to recognize.
Okay. We are able to recognize most of the laws governing universe equilibrium and to predict much pertaining to universe stability. Practically, our forecasts are reliable, but we are always confronted by certain forces which are not wholly amenable to the laws of to energy control and matter behavior known to us. The predictability of all physical phenomena becomes increasingly difficult as we proceed outward in the universe from paradise. As we pass beyond the borders of the personal administration of the paradise rulers, we are confronted with increasing inability to reckon in accordance with the standards established and the experience acquired in connection with the observations having exclusively to do with the physical phenomena of the nearby astronomic systems. Even in the realms of the 7 superuniverses, we are living in the midst of force, actions, and energy reactions which pervade all our domains and extend in united equilibrium on through all regions of our outer space.
So what are they telling us? They're telling us the farther you get to paradise, what happens? The more confusing it gets. Yeah, that's right.
It's nice and calm in paradise.
It's nice and calm and very predictable in paradise, and probably Havana, okay? Because it's settled. But once you get out to the 7 super universe, all bets are off, aren't they? Because what? We have 700,000 creator sons all creating their local universe according to what they believe is the proper way to do it, right? And they're trying to copy what? Havana, okay?
Yeah.
So you add 700,000 different concepts of creating into these 7 super universes, and you get a lot of different strange things, I'm sure, you know? You take any human being and you put them in a room and you tell them to do something, and you put another human being in a different room and tell them to do something. What are you going to get? A different result, right? Because we're all unique, right?
And you know why we're so confused out here? We are located out on the farthest periphery of
The
the
edge
seventh
of the-
super universe,
That's right, the very edge,
Yeah.
right?
the very edge
That's right.
from,
Right.
from paradise.
Okay, and this
Yeah.
next paragraph really says that. Diane, go ahead and take the next paragraph because it really,
The farther out we go, the more certainly we encounter those variational and unpredictable phenomena, which are so unerringly characteristic of the unfathomable presence performances of the absolutes and the experiential deities. And these phenomena must be indicative of some universal over-control of all things.
okay, so even though we have all these variations and unpredictable phenomena, they're still controlled by what? The experiential deities, the supreme, right?
Yeah.
And the absolutes. So it's still in the box, as they say. It's just a lot of movement inside that box, right? All right,
Mhm.
let's get another one going here. Bill, would you take the next one, please?
Sure. The super universe of Urantia is apparently now running down. The outer universes seem to be winding up for unparalleled future activity. The central Havana universe is eternally stabilized. Gravity and absence of heat, cold, organize and hold matter together. Heat and anti-gravity disrupt matter and dissipate energy. The living power directors and force organizers are the secret of the spatial control and intelligent direction of the endless metamorphosis of universe making, unmaking, and remaking. Nebula may disperse, suns burn out, systems vanish, and planets perish, but the universes do not run down.
Okay, I want to point something out to y'all, and y'all are going to catch this right off. Read the very last section of that, the paragraph, but the
Mhm.
universes do not run down. You see that?
Yep.
Read the very first part
Yeah.
of the paragraph.
It's contradiction.
Yeah,
That's
this is
right.
the universe
We have a
apparently
little contradiction.
now running down.
Right.
Trying to figure that one out.
The Universal censor must have been smoking something when he wrote this.
Ah,
Now it says the super universe of Urantia is apparently now running down,
Yeah,
but the universes inside of
that
the
does
super
not run.
universe do not run down.
Okay, so if y'all want me to figure that one out, I think it's above me. It's above my pay.
Yeah, that's
it's talking about two different things, I believe.
Yeah, I believe it
yeah.
is too, but it's very confusing, right? But the point is in this is that the super universe has a movement and an evolution, right? The Havana universe is eternally stabilized. It does not have that evolution, okay? And because of the heat and the cold and the matter and antimatter, the disruptive matter and the dissipating energy, all these things affect the seven super universes, right? And the power directors and the force organizers are in control of all these endless changes going on in the universe making, unmaking, and remaking. So they are in control of all this all the time, right? It's not just haphazardly going on. All right.
Roger,
Yes.
I,
Jane?
I think what stands out in that contradictory paragraph,
Uh-huh.
the word apparently and seem.
Seeming, that's right. Apparently
is
it
both-
seems, yeah.
Seem. There's the word apparently, which leaves it up for debate.
Yeah.
And then also the universe seem like,
Yeah.
again, it's not finalized. It's a
Well,
seem.
you know, I think you're right about that, Jane. I think what they're trying to tell us here is even though Arvanton seems to be running down, that universes really do not. Okay, they don't run down. They're on a cycle, That's the whole point. Everything's a cycle. Even when we read earlier about the energy taking 985 million years to go through a cycle, right? Everything is cyclic, even the 7 super universes going around Havona in the central universe, right? It's a cycle. It goes around in a big oval all the time, right?
Well, it says that the outer universes, go back up there to that paragraph
Right.
again. It says that the outer universes seem to be winding up for unparalleled future activities.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go.
Okay.
That's what I was. referring-
So they're going to crank those up, right?
Right, we're cranking those up, and that's apparently our local universe is an outer universe.
Yeah, yeah. And if you think about it, the outer space levels, that's our future, right? So they're
Mhm.
preparing for what's to come in our future, really, when it comes right down to it, right?
You know what the disturbing thing is? Nebulon may dissipate, suns burn out, systems vanish, and planets perish,
Right.
but the universe does not run down.
That's right. Now, it's interesting that they say this too. These things only happen in what? The 7 super universes, right? And probably the outer space levels. But in the central universe, that's not the case, is it? Everything's totally stable all the time. So if you think about it, we're still talking about that cyclic thing, planets come into being, go through their metamorphosis, and eventually burn out and die, right? And that seems to be the way with everything evolutional, right? Evolution is just that way. So if you want to get attached to this planet, I don't think that's a good idea, is it? Because sooner or later it will go away. Okay. Circuits of the, how many? 651. Let me see where I want to go with this tonight. I would really like to do this all in one lesson, rather than break this up. Because if we start it now, we will be breaking it up. Tell you what, let's take this up on the next lesson, because these circuits are very, very important. There's a lot to it. So that would be a lesson in itself, just the circuits. And so let's wait till next time to do the circuits, and we'll just have just a little shorter meeting tonight than we normally have. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, since we went over last time. All right, let me stop the share here, because let me give you all a preview here. This is the 4 universal circuits of paradise, and then we're going to go through next time the super universe circuits. You see this here? And then we're also going to go through the local universe circuits, and we're also going to talk about the adjunct mind spirits. Okay, and that's why we have the slides for that. So let's try to wait till next time to go through that, and we'll do it all in one meeting rather than breaking it up across a couple.
Okay.
All right, let me stop the share here, and we'll say a little prayer, and we'll have any discussion y'all want to say here. Oh, Father, thank you for this wonderful meeting tonight. I don't think I prayed at the beginning of this meeting, did I?
No, we
And
will.
thank you for the opportunity to share this. Thank you for these wonderful people that come and listen to this. And thank you for those at home. We hope we make this a little more understanding and not so confusing. We thank you for the opportunity to do this. And we thank you for the opportunity to share this with others, that they might share it with other beings so they can benefit from this before our paradise journey. We thank you and we give you the praise in your son, Michael, Jesus of Nazareth. Amen.
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 Stop the recording.